Dear listeners, I welcome you to my channel. Leave your comments and impressions, I value your opinion. The room is dimly lit, a single lamp casting a yellowish hue over the oak bedside table cluttered with medications. I lie in bed, my body frail and weakened from the months of battling a disease that has no mercy. My breathing is shallow, each inhale a reminder of the finite number of breaths I have left. The ticking of the clock on the wall is a cruel reminder of time slipping away, each tick a heartbeat closer to the end. The door creaks open, and I see her silhouette against the hallway light. Sarah, my wife of 10 years, steps into the room. She is not alone. A tall, muscular man follows her, his presence instantly filling the room with an aura of dominance and arrogance. My heart pounds in my chest, a mixture of confusion and dread. I try to speak. My voice is a mere whisper, choked by the oxygen tube. Who? I manage to croak out, my eyes darting between Sarah and the stranger. Sarah's face is cold, her eyes void of the love and compassion they once held. She looks at me with a mixture of pity and indifference, a look that sends chills down my spine. She doesn't answer immediately, instead walking over to the window and pulling the curtains shut, blocking out the evening light. You're going to die soon anyway, so I don't see the point in hiding my affairs anymore, she says flatly, turning back to face me. Her words hit me like a sledgehammer, knocking the breath out of my already struggling lungs. The man smirks, stepping closer to the bed. I'm David, he says casually, as if introducing himself at a dinner party rather than in the bedroom of a dying man. I try to process what's happening, but my mind is sluggish, weighed down by the cocktail of drugs and the relentless fatigue. Why? I whisper, my voice barely audible. Sarah sighs, as if my question is a tiresome inconvenience. Because Mark, I need to move on with my life. And David here, he makes me feel alive. Something you haven't been able to do for a long time. Her words are like daggers, each one stabbing deeper into my heart. I thought the disease was the worst thing that could happen to me, but this betrayal cuts deeper than any illness ever could. I can feel my body shaking, a mixture of rage and helplessness coursing through me. David sits on the edge of the bed, far too close for comfort. You see, Mark, Sarah and we've been seeing each other for almost a year now. She's tired of living in this shadow of death, he says, his voice dripping with condescension. I want to scream, to throw them both out of the house, but I'm too weak. Tears well up in my eyes, blurring my vision. Get out, I managed to say, my voice stronger than I thought possible. Get out of my house. Sarah laughs, a harsh, bitter sound. Your house? You can barely get out of bed, Mark. This house will be mine soon enough, and David and we have plans. Just then, a sharp pain shoots through my chest. I gasp, clutching at my heart, the pain unlike anything I've felt before. Sarah's eyes widen, and for a moment, I see a flicker of concern. But it's gone as quickly as it appeared, replaced by cold detachment. David stands up, looking mildly concerned. Is he? Sarah shrugs. He'll be fine. Or not. It doesn't really matter anymore. She turns to leave the room, David following her like a shadow. As the door closes behind them, I'm left alone with the crushing weight of betrayal and the suffocating pain in my chest. I close my eyes, trying to calm my racing heart, but the darkness is filled with images of Sarah and David, their betrayal playing over and over in my mind. But as the minutes pass, the pain subsides slightly, and a strange clarity begins to take hold. I realize that I am not ready to die, not yet. And certainly not like this. A spark of determination flares within me. I might be weak, but I'm not defeated. Not yet. I reach for my phone, my hands trembling. I need help, someone who can pull me out of this nightmare. I dial the number of the only person I can trust, my brother Tom. Mark, is everything okay? Tom's voice is filled with concern as he answers on the second ring. No, Tom. I whisper, my voice shaking. Everything is not okay. I need you to come over, now. I'm on my way, he says without hesitation. As I hang up, a sense of relief washes over me. I'm not alone in this fight. And as long as I have breath in my body, I will fight. For my life, for my dignity, and for justice. The night ahead is long, but I'm ready. Ready to face whatever comes next. Because luck, as it turns out, might just be on my side. The silence in the room is heavy, punctuated only by the rhythmic ticking of the clock. I lie there trying to steady my breathing, each inhale a small victory. The betrayal I just witnessed plays in my mind on an endless loop, but I push it aside. I need to focus. Tom is on his way, and he's the lifeline I need right now. Minutes feel like hours, but finally, I hear the sound of a car pulling into the driveway. Relief floods through me as I listen to Tom's hurried footsteps approaching the front door. The doorbell rings once, and then there's a pounding knock. "Mark, it's Tom. Open up." With every ounce of strength, I force myself to sit up and reach for the intercom. "Tom, come in," I croak, pressing the button to unlock the door. Tom bursts into the room moments later, his eyes wide with worry. He's a solid man, always dependable, and right now, seeing him feels like a lifeline. "Mark, what's going on? You sounded terrible on the phone." He rushes to my side, taking in the sight of my frail form and the oxygen tube. His eyes narrow with determination. "What happened?" "Sarah," I begin, my voice shaking. "She brought another man into the house. She said since I'm going to die soon, she didn't need to hide her affairs anymore." Tom's face hardens with anger. "She what? Where is she now?" "She and David. They're in the living room," I say, my voice barely above a whisper. Tom's jaw clenches, and he strides out of the bedroom, a force of nature on a mission. I hear the muffled sounds of voices, sharp and angry, but I can't make out the words. My heart pounds in my chest as I wait, feeling more helpless than ever. Minutes later, Tom returns, his expression grim. "They're gone," he says, sitting down on the edge of the bed. "I told them to get out and not come back. Sarah didn't put up much of a fight. She's already moved on in her mind." I close my eyes, the weight of everything pressing down on me. What am I going to do, Tom? I feel so betrayed, so helpless. Tom places a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "You're not helpless, Mark. You have me, and we're going to get through this together. But we need a plan. First, we're going to get you stronger, and then we're going to deal with Sarah." The next few days are a blur of doctor's visits, medication adjustments, and rest. Tom is a constant presence, making sure I'm comfortable and taking care of everything I need. I start to feel a glimmer of hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, I can survive this. One afternoon, as Tom and I sit in the living room discussing my treatment plan, there's a knock at the door. Tom gets up to answer it, and I hear a familiar voice. It's Emily, my nurse, who has been helping me since my diagnosis. "Mark, how are you feeling today?" she asks, her smile warm and genuine as she enters the room. "Better, thanks to Tom," I say, glancing at my brother. Emily nods, setting her bag down on the coffee table. "I'm glad to hear that. Tom, you've been doing a great job." She turns back to me, her expression turning serious. "Mark, I need to talk to you about something important." I nod, feeling a sense of foreboding. "What is it?" Emily takes a deep breath. "I overheard something at the hospital. Sarah has been talking to one of the doctors about your condition. She's been asking about the details of your will and your life insurance policy." My heart sinks. She's planning something, isn't she? Emily nods. "I think she's trying to expedite things. She knows you're not as close to death as she told David. She's trying to find a way to push things along." Tom's face darkens with anger. "We need to do something about this. We can't let her get away with it." Emily looks at us both, her eyes filled with determination. "I have a friend who's a private investigator. He can help us gather evidence against Sarah. If we can prove what she's up to, we can stop her." I nod, feeling a renewed sense of hope. Let's do it. Let's stop her. The next few days are a whirlwind of secret meetings and hush phone calls. Emily's friend Jake is a former police detective turned private investigator. He's a tall, imposing figure with a sharp mind and a no-nonsense attitude. "Mark, Tom, Emily," Jake says, nodding to each of us as we sit around the dining table. "I've been looking into Sarah's activities. She's definitely up to something. She's been meeting with a lawyer, and there are large sums of money being moved around." Tom clenches his fists. "What do we do?" Jake leans forward, his eyes sharp. "We set a trap. We'll gather all the evidence we need and confront her. But we need to be careful. She's dangerous, and she won't go down without a fight." As we lay out our plan, I feel a sense of purpose returning. I may be weak, but I'm not helpless. With Tom, Emily, and Jake by my side, I have a fighting chance. We're going to stop Sarah, no matter what it takes. The night of the confrontation arrives. We set up hidden cameras and microphones throughout the house, ready to capture everything. Tom and Jake are hidden in the next room, ready to intervene if things get out of hand. Emily stays by my side, her presence a comforting reminder that I'm not alone. Sarah arrives, looking smug and confident. She doesn't know what's coming. As she steps into the living room, I take a deep breath, steeling myself for what's to come. Sarah, I say, my voice strong despite my weakness. We need to talk. She smirks, crossing her arms. What is it, Mark? Finally decided to give up. Not quite, I say, meeting her gaze. I know what you've been up to, and it ends tonight. Her eyes widen in surprise and then narrow in anger. You don't know anything. I press a button on the remote, and the screen lights up with the footage Jake captured. Sarah's face goes pale as her treachery is laid bare for all to see. You're finished, Sarah, I say, my voice steady. Tom, Jake, and Emily are all here. We have enough evidence to take you down. Sarah looks around, panic setting in. You can't do this. I'll fight you. Tom steps out of the shadows, his expression grim. We're ready for that. You're not going to hurt Mark anymore. Sarah's face contorts with rage, but she knows she's beaten. She turns on her heel and storms out of the house, slamming the door behind her. As the dust settles, I feel a sense of relief wash over me. It's not over yet, but we've taken the first step. With my newfound allies by my side, I know we can face whatever comes next. The house is eerily quiet after Sarah's departure. We all sit in the living room, the tension still thick in the air. Tom paces back and forth, his face etched with concern. Emily sits next to me, her hand on my shoulder, while Jake reviews the footage on his laptop. We've got enough here to take to the police, Jake says, his voice steady. But we need to be careful. Sarah won't go down without a fight. She's desperate and dangerous. I nod, feeling the weight of the situation settle on my shoulders. What's our next move? Jake looks up, his eyes sharp. First, we secure all this evidence. Then we talk to the police. But we need to make sure Sarah doesn't find out what we're doing. She could retaliate. Tom stops pacing and looks at Jake. How do we keep her in the dark? We need to make her think everything is normal, Jake explains. We keep her busy, make her believe we're not onto her. Meanwhile, I'll work on getting this evidence to the right people. Emily's phone buzzes, and she glances at the screen, her face pales. It's Sarah. She's calling me. Answer it, Jake says quickly. Put it on speaker, but keep her talking. Emily nods and answers the call, her voice calm and professional. Hello, Sarah. Emily, I need you to come to the house. Mark's been acting strange, and I'm worried about him. Sarah's voice is smooth, but there's an edge to it that makes my skin crawl. Emily shoots us a glance, her expression tense. I'll be there soon. Is he okay? Sarah laughs, a cold, mocking sound. He's fine. Just paranoid, as usual. Hurry up. The call ends, and Emily looks at Jake. What do I do? Jake thinks for a moment. Go, act normal. We need to keep her off balance. I'll follow at a distance, make sure she doesn't try anything. Emily nods and grabs her bag. Be careful, I say, my voice filled with concern. I will, she replies, giving my hand a reassuring squeeze before she leaves. Tom sits down next to me, his face grim. We'll get through this, Mark. We have to. Hours pass like days as we wait for Emily's return. Jake keeps in touch, sending updates from his car as he follows Sarah's movements. Finally, as the sun sets, Emily returns, her face pale and her hands trembling. She's planning something. Emily says as she sits down, her voice shaky. She was talking to someone on the phone, saying she needed to take care of things before it's too late. Jake's eyes narrow. Did you get any specifics? Emily shakes her head. No, she was being careful. But it's clear she's desperate. Tom stands up, his fists clenched. We need to end this now. We can't wait for her to make the next move. Jake nods. Agreed. I'll take the evidence to the police tonight. We need to move fast. As Jake leaves, the house feels emptier, the shadows growing longer as night falls. Tom stays close, his presence a comforting reminder that I'm not alone. But the fear remains, lurking in the corners of my mind. Just before midnight, my phone buzzes. It's a message from Jake. Evidence delivered. Police are on their way to pick up Sarah. I breathe a sigh of relief, the tension easing slightly, but it's short-lived. A loud crash from the front of the house shatters the quiet. Tom and I exchange a glance, and he grabs a baseball bat from the corner of the room. "Stay here," he says, his voice firm. "I'll check it out." "No, I'm coming with you," I insist, my voice shaking but determined. I can't let Tom face this alone. We move cautiously through the house, the shadows deep and menacing. As we reach the front hallway, we see the door hanging off its hinges, splintered from the force of the blow. Sarah stands in the doorway, a crazed look in her eyes and a gun in her hand. "Sarah, what are you doing?" I ask, my voice steady despite the fear coursing through me. "You ruined everything," she screams, her voice filled with rage. "I won't let you take what's mine." Tom steps forward, the bat raised. "Put the gun down, Sarah. This doesn't have to end badly." Sarah laughs, a high, manic sound. "It's too late for that. I've lost everything because of you." The situation is spiraling out of control, and I can see the desperation in her eyes. "Sarah, please," I say, trying to reach the part of her that once cared for me. "Think about what you're doing." But she's beyond reason. She raises the gun, aiming it at me. In that split second, everything slows down. I see Tom move, his body a blur as he swings the bat. The gun goes off, the sound deafening in the confined space. Pain explodes in my side, and I collapse to the floor, the world spinning around me. I hear shouts, the sound of a struggle, but everything is fading. Tom's face swims into view, his eyes filled with panic. "Stay with me, Mark," he shouts, his voice distant. "Help is on the way." The last thing I see before darkness claims me is the flash of blue and red lights, and the sound of sirens growing louder. I wake to the rhythmic beeping of machines and the sterile smell of antiseptic. My side throbs with a dull, persistent pain, but I'm alive. I blink, trying to clear the fog from my mind, and realize I'm in a hospital bed. Tom sits beside me, his face etched with worry and relief. "Tom," I croak, my voice weak. He looks up, his eyes lighting up with a mix of joy and exhaustion. "Mark, you're awake, thank God." "What happened?" I ask, my memories hazy. Tom squeezes my hand. "You were shot, but you're going to be okay. The bullet missed any vital organs. You've been in surgery, but the doctors say you'll make a full recovery." I close my eyes, relief washing over me. "Sarah." Tom's expression darkens. "She's in custody. The police arrived just in time to stop her. Jake's evidence was enough to charge her with attempted murder and conspiracy." I let out a shaky breath. "It's over then." Tom nods. "It's over, you're safe now." Days pass as I recover in the hospital, surrounded by the steady flow of nurses and doctors. Emily visits often, her presence a comforting reminder of the support I've had through this ordeal. Jake stops by too, updating me on the legal proceedings against Sarah. One afternoon, as the sun casts warm rays through the hospital window, Emily enters with a file in her hands. Her expression is serious, and she sits down beside my bed. "Mark, there's something you need to see," she says, handing me the file. I open it, my heart pounding. Inside are documents, photographs, and a detailed report. As I read, a chilling realization dawns on me. "Emily, what is this?" I ask, my voice shaking. "It's more evidence," she explains. "Jake found it while digging deeper into Sarah's activities. It turns out, she wasn't working alone." A sense of dread fills me. "What do you mean?" Emily takes a deep breath. "Sarah had a partner, someone who was helping her plan everything. We believe they were working together to expedite your death and secure your life insurance payout." "Who?" I ask, my mind racing. Emily's eyes meet mine, filled with sadness and determination. "It was David. But that's not all. There's another name. Someone closer." I feel a cold shiver run down my spine. "Who?" "Tom," she says softly. "Tom was involved." I stare at her, disbelief and anger warring within me. "No, that can't be true. Tom saved me. He's been by my side through all of this." "I know it's hard to believe," Emily says gently. "But we have the evidence. Financial records, phone calls, meetings. He was in on it from the beginning. It's why Sarah was so confident. She had inside help." My mind reels, trying to process the betrayal. But why? Why would he do this? Emily looks away, her voice barely above a whisper. "For the money, Mark. Your life insurance policy is worth a lot. They plan to split it." Anger boils within me, mingling with the pain and sorrow. Where is he now? Jake's bringing him in, Emily says. He wanted you to know first. As if on cue, the door opens and Jake walks in, his expression grim. Behind him, Tom is escorted by 2 police officers, his hands cuffed in front of him. Our eyes meet, and I see a mixture of guilt and defiance in his gaze. Mark, I can explain, Tom begins, his voice pleading. It wasn't supposed to go this far. I never wanted you to get hurt. You betrayed me, I say, my voice shaking with emotion. You and Sarah both. Tom's face crumples. I'm sorry, Mark. I was desperate. I thought I could make things right, get out of debt. But it spiraled out of control. You almost got me killed, I say, my anger boiling over. How could you do this to your own brother? Tom hangs his head, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry, he whispers. The police officers lead him away, and Jake stays behind, his expression solemn. I'm sorry you had to go through this, Mark, but you're safe now. We'll make sure they pay for what they've done. I nod, the weight of the betrayal settling heavily on my shoulders. Thank you, Jake, for everything. As the days turn into weeks, the legal proceedings move forward. Sarah and Tom are both charged and convicted for their crimes. The evidence is overwhelming, and justice is served. With the ordeal behind me, I focus on my recovery. Emily continues to be a constant presence, her support unwavering. We grow closer, our bond strengthening through the shared experience. One evening, as we sit together on the porch of my home, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and pink, I feel a sense of peace for the first time in a long while. Emily, I say, taking her hand. I don't know what I would have done without you. She smiles, her eyes filled with warmth. You're stronger than you think, Mark. You've been through so much. And you're still here. I couldn't have done it alone, I reply, squeezing her hand. Thank you. As the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, I realize that despite the betrayal and pain, I've found something more valuable than money or revenge. I've found true friendship, support, and perhaps even a chance at love. The future is uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful. With Emily by my side, and the support of new friends like Jake, I know I can face whatever comes next. The past is behind me, and as I look ahead, I see a new beginning filled with possibilities. And with that, I close the chapter on a painful part of my life, ready to embrace whatever the future holds.